What's up, guys? Thought I'd make this video today. I watched that debate last night on TV with Bernie Sanders and the other idiots, and it inspired me to make this video. And so, old Bernie Sanders said that he's going to make it easier for black people to be able to sell marijuana. So what that says to me is he thinks all black people are drug dealers. And I can't believe that in 2020, some idiot that's running for president would ever get up there and show his true colors. But just thought I'd throw that out there. I couldn't believe that. But what I've ran into doing drive-away, I have ran into some racism. And this is what this video is about today. And so I was out in New York, in about the New Jersey area, getting ready to get on the Greyhound. And I was the only white guy in the room. And there was a lot of folks, I could assume that they was from Jamaica. And they was plotting to jump me. Once I went into the restroom, robbed me. So I was getting ready. But I've really felt the racism that day. But I tell you, it's out there. I mean, that you don't have to be black. You don't have to be brown. You don't have to be Asian. I mean, it's all over. So, me personally, I'm not racist. I could care less what your skin color is. But I believe that there's two people, man and woman. That's it. It's that simple. So, there's no gray area for me. It's just man, woman. That's it. So, I'll prove it to you. Alright, when I was in elementary school, I had 4 friends in elementary school. And I was thinking about it this morning. What are those 4 friends' names? Because I'm about 45 now, and things start fading out once you get a little older. You start forgetting things like names and all that other stuff. So I thought of them. I got their names. All right, Tom Nolan, Darren Daly, Sean Turner, Kevin Turner. 2 of which was black. And I treated them just like, my other 2 buddies. We all played with G.I. Joes and had a great old time. I wasn't taught racism until I was in junior high. I didn't even know that there was racism. And that's how innocent I was. So once I got to junior high, they had this thing that's called Black History Month. And then during Black History Month, I learned about the god-awful stuff that happened to people back in the day. Man, I couldn't believe it that they did that type of stuff. Hung people, and it was crazy. I mean, I couldn't believe it. In junior high, I had friends, they was Cambodians. I mean, I didn't care. If it was cool, I was cool. So, that's what I've always believed. I've never had that situation where I was like treated someone differently just because of their skin. I always thought that was idiotic. But I will tell you a story. I was in Atlanta, Georgia. So I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I was riding a Greyhound bus. I just started doing drive-away, and I used to get around on a Greyhound bus. I didn't know any better. So I came into the Greyhound bus station in the middle of the night. And it was about 11 o'clock at night when I got there. And my bus didn't leave till like 3, 4 in the morning or something like that. And I had a lot of time to kill. So I was just sitting there and taking it easy. And man, my stomach started growling. I'm like, I gotta get me some food, and now. I didn't have no cash, and I had about $20 worth of quarters I carry. So I thought, well, I'm going to run over to the ATM machine and get me some money. Went over to the ATM machine that was in the Greyhound bus station, and the piece of shit was broke. So I went up to the security guard. I said, hey, where's another ATM machine? He said across the street at the liquor store. Now, given, hey, this is the land of Georgia. I'm a white guy. You know, I didn't know any better. You know, I'm, once again, naive. So I'm learning as I go with this drive-away because, you know, I never really traveled before I started doing drive-away. So I roll on across the street. I had my bag and everything, and there's a guy standing outside the liquor store. I'm like, yep, they're standing outside the liquor store. So I go on in there, and they're like, oh, he's the po-po. And this is what they kept saying about me. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? So I go up to the ATM machine. Bitch didn't work. That pissed me off. I started kicking the machine and shaking it and everything else, and then they was all freaking out. They thought I was going to destroy the machine. But, man, I was hangry. I was needing some money. So, thing didn't spit my money out. So, I'm walking back to the Greyhound bus station, and I could sense that something was going to happen. They was going to try to rob me. If I would have got money out of that ATM machine, they was going to rob me coming up out of that liquor store. So I was kind of lucky, you know, that they didn't try to rob me because, you know, a lot of them would have had a lot of scars if they would have tried to rob me. So anyway, I made it back over to the Greyhound bus station. Found me a seat. It was between a younger black guy and an older black guy. And the older black guy, he had tan pants on, you know, looked like he just rolled out of prison. And I sat down next to him, and then the younger guy, he was kind of like, I don't know how you would explain it. I guess dressed like somebody that you would see on the corner selling drugs. That's the only way I can explain it. So, anyway, I sat down next to these two boys, and I'm like, I told them, I said, damn, I'm hungry. And then they're like, yeah, we're hungry too. And so about that time, a Domino's pizza man came through there after his shift, and he, I guess, ended up with a couple extra pizzas. And they was cold pizzas, you know, and he was discounting them out. And I said, oh yeah. I said, hey boys, I said, I'm going to buy them pizzas. He's like, oh, you want me to catch him? I said, no. Wait until he circles the room, because none of these other people's going to buy a cold pizza. When he comes back over here, I'm going to Jew him down. And that's the way I say it. You know, I'm going to haggle on the price. But, you know, we're going to Jew him down. I know that sounds racist in itself, but it's really not. But anyway, so he circles on back around. And I whip out my bag of quarters. I said, hey man, you want to take quarters? And he's like, yeah. I said, I'll give you $8 for them 2 large pizzas. And he's like, done. So I whipped out $8 and gave him an extra $1, you know, quarters, tip. Get rid of some of them damn quarters. And so I said, all right guys, I didn't get all this pizza just for me. And they looked at me like I was weird. And I said, there's a hierarchy right here, right now. And then the older guy's like, yes, there is. And I looked at the younger guy, and I said, you know what that means, right? And he's like, what? I said, well, if you want some of this pizza, you got to go warm it up for us. I said, because you're the youngest. The youngest always, you know, gets the dirty job. And he's like, all right, man, I'll do it. So he jets on over there, finds some surgical gloves from somewhere. I don't know where he got those from. Puts all of our pizza on paper plates, brings it back to us warm. So we're the three of us is mowing down on some pizza. I said, boys, we gotta eat all this pizza, so help yourself. So we're sitting there, we're chowing down on pizza, and we're sitting there bullshitting. The younger guy, basically, he was a transporter of narcotics, you might as well say. And the older guy, had just got out of prison on an 8 or 9 year stretch for whatever. I didn't ask. Not my business. And he was going to visit his mother. He ain't seen her in years. So I'm sitting there, we're chowing down, and then there's a woman had a little baby, and little baby was starving, and we got him pizza. Pizza flopped down on the floor, like 32 seconds later. So I gave him some more pizza. And anyway, that's what I believe. There ain't no color, man. I'm colorblind. I mean, that's the way, if a president is running for president, that's the way he should be, Because if you're in America, you are an American. I'm going to tell you another story. I temporarily worked at a golf course when I was younger. And I worked with a guy that was from a part of Africa that, it was horrible. They was chopping people's heads off with machetes and all kinds of stuff. He said that his entire family was blown up with a grenade because they was in the political scene of the country, and basically they was against the way the government was treating their people. If you couldn't speak up or anything, or you'll find a gunny sack over your head and then you're chopped up out in the woods somewhere. That's the type of situation he came from, and he lived in America now. And so then the other black guy I worked with, he was from Missouri, and he grew up in Missouri, and he was a real nice guy. Both of them were super nice guys and very hard workers. And so anyway, I was perplexed one day. We was sitting there underneath the shade tree, and we was bullshitting. I said, man, I'm a white guy. And they're like, yeah, that's obvious. And I said, I got a question. I said, now, I don't mean nothing by this question, but I have always wondered. And I asked the guy from Africa, and I said, what do you think about them calling people that is born and raised in America African Americans? He said, I think it's wrong. And then I asked the guy that was born in America, I said, what do you think about it? He said, I don't want to be called an African American because I'm not from Africa. I'm from here, Missouri. I'm a Missourian. I'm not an African American. So I thought, man, this is the strangest conversation. So then the guy from Africa, he said, I am an African American because I came from America. I came from Africa. I was born in Africa. I moved to America. I am an African American. And I said, boys, y'all cleared everything up for me. Now, I got a full picture of everything now. I said, I appreciate it. And they're like, yep, no problem. So, right there, all this media, news, schools, and all this crap that they teach all these young people nowadays, man, it's messing their damn heads up, is what they're doing. There's only two people, man and woman, in this world. But that was my rant for the day. I get out here, I'm in the middle of nowhere in Georgia. Look at the red clay over here. And I'm just chooching along, and I'm cutting across country because what's the point of me living my life on the damn highway when I could see some pine trees and some locals, and see the scenery, which there's not a whole lot of. But I just thought I'd share that. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. So y'all get out there and make some damn money.